Hey there, viewers, and welcome back to Grumpy Monkey Garage. Today we're talking about jacks. Alright viewers, when talking about jacks, the jack has to do a couple of tasks for the automotive professional. It doesn't just have to lift up the car, it also needs to be sturdy enough that it's not going to wobble if you're jacking up at a weird angle. So if you're not straight against the car because you have a shop wall in the way or something, you're kind of at an angle, you want this jack to be a sturdy platform to be on for a good minute there until you get the jack stand, of course. So that's what I would look for in a jack. I'd also look for a weight rating. You want something that's overrated for what you're going to be doing. So if you're only going to be lifting up your Corolla, this little cheapo jack on the end here is going to be just fine for you. If you're going to be doing big trucks, you want to stick over here with the big boys. So you really want to get something, if you're lifting 3 tons, get a 4-ton jack. Okay, you want it overrated so that if you are lifting up in the worst of situations, not at the best angle, whatever your work environment is, you're still going to be able to get it done and it's not going to be a safety issue. Always use jack stands though, don't be a moron. So I'm going to talk about my choices for jacks, but this isn't necessarily a brand bashing, brand promoting thing. This is just the features of the jacks that I like. I will tell you what brands these are though. But this is the budget line of jacks right here that we're going to go over first, because this, if you're starting out looking for jacks, these two right here are going to be what's going to come to your mind. These are your Pittsburgh 1.5 ton aluminum rapid pump little lightweight jack here. I think this jack is $67, somewhere in that less than $100 price point right here. And then we have our 3-ton steel rolling jack, also from Harbor Freight, Pittsburgh brand. And as you can tell by this one has been with me for 6 years. It has never refused to pick up a vehicle. I've been very happy with this jack. I'll go more into that in a minute. But then my third jack over here is, in the professional line of duty, you notice there's a length difference between these two jacks. That is some height difference that you're going to be able to get when working on a vehicle. But that made a huge difference to me. This matters. So I really want this jack. But this is not something you're gonna be able to go out and buy if you're balling on a budget. These two are. This is the cheapest jack that I would recommend for somebody, but that comes with an asterisk. This jack is not very wide at the base. This is very wide. So when I go to jack up both of these jacks, and I'm doing so, okay, this one right here becomes wanting to do this when you have a car on it. It's more prone if you're not perfectly flat to tilt it. You're supposed to use jack stands at all times, but when you're jacking up a car and the car falls and this thing goes with it, you've created a problem. So that could be bad. You could have damaged somebody's door in the process of doing that. You could have torn off a bumper. So this jack I wouldn't recommend unless you are working at your own car, in your driveway. It's nice and flat, you have ideal circumstances, and you have plenty of room to swing this. The problem with when you're working in the shop is you might be on a very wide vehicle or a lowered vehicle, and you can't swing it very far because you're hitting the wall with the jack. So you end up at angles like this, kind of swing away, and then it tilts and ends up dropping the car. So this is an emergency jack only for me. It goes in the truck, so if I get a flat while I'm on my way to a customer, this is lighter and easier to throw out and go ahead and change my tire. Not something I'm gonna use on a customer car because it's just, this is not the safest jack for me. I would not prefer this. All right, now talking about our 3-ton Harbor Freight jack here. This is my favorite jack. This is the jack that I bought when I was a teenager, just starting to work on my own truck. Wasn't even doing customer work at this time. This jack has lasted me 6 years, and it does still do its task. And it has been, as you can see by the condition of it, it has not been living a very happy life. It has done some hard work, and now I think I'm going to be retiring it and replacing it with that one. But talking about this jack, I think it was $74.99 with a coupon when I bought this jack. And this jack has been, I mean, everything I've asked it to do, it's done. It's been great. It's very stable because of that wide base. It lifts vehicles up high enough to actually get the work done. And it'll sit there and hold. If you've got one jack stand and a jack and you leave it on the jack and put the jack stand as an emergency support right next to it, you know, this little combo right here on the same frame rail of a car, this and this are good. This is nice and stable, it's safe, I'm not worried that this thing's gonna tip over and throw the car on me or throw it onto the jack stand. I'm not worried about that situation because this jack has really performed well. So if you're on a budget and you're looking for something to do some work, I would recommend you look for a jack, not necessarily this one, even though I've been really happy with it, that's very wide at the nose, has overrated. This is a 3-ton. I wasn't lifting anything that was 6,000 pounds at that point. So this is a very good jack to start with. Does its job, it's very budget friendly, and it's really held up very, very well for me. So I'm very pleased with it. All right, now this jack, the Daytona 3-ton low profile, I would really only recommend this if you're doing this every day, day in, day out, fixing customer vehicles, because this jack is a lot more expensive than the other two. I don't remember exactly what I paid for it, but I know it was 200 plus, maybe 199-ish range. It was a very expensive jack. So this is not something I would recommend if you're DIYing in the garage, because it's not necessary. This jack right here will take care of you for that. But if you are doing this professionally, if you're a mobile mechanic or you're starting your business and you don't have a lift yet, this is going to get you by. It lifts them up very quickly. If you're in an awkward angle like I was talking about on the other jacks, where you got this rod that's hitting the wall because your angle, it has a foot pedal here where you can just kick the foot pedal and raise the car there until you get where you need to be. So you're not going to be swinging around this arm, taking up time. And when you're on flat rate, that matters. So this is going to be a very professional friendly jack right here. Now, I haven't had this jack very long. I've had it about 2 months. I've used it on a lot of cars already because I am doing this professionally every day. And I've been happy with it. I have one complaint with this jack that I wish we could get a solution to, but I don't think it's even reasonable because you can't always get what you want. I wish this jack weighed less than a hippopotamus. This thing takes 2 guys to lift into the truck. You can lift it by yourself. You're gonna hurt your back the whole next day. This is not fun to lift in and out of the back of a truck doing mobile work. If you're in a shop and you're stationary, great, this is fine. You don't have to lift it up all the time. But I'm a mobile mechanic as well still, and lifting this in and out of the back of the truck takes 2 guys or I'm gonna be hurting the next day. This jack was not that hard to lift by myself. This old 3-ton Pittsburgh was way easier to move in and out of a truck. Didn't hurt my back ever. This one is, like I said, it's lifting a hippopotamus, but it's very overbuilt. It hasn't dropped the car. It doesn't scream, I'm gonna fail on you ever. This thing is very good to go. Its pumps are thorough. It's a good jack. I'm very happy with it. But if you're DIYing in the garage, you're watching my videos to learn how to fix cars, this jack is not, I wouldn't recommend this for you. It's not that much more than this little Pittsburgh, which was, I mean, a fraction of the cost. So if you're working in your garage, this jack right here, this 3-ton Pittsburgh, I've been happiest with. It's one of the cheapest jacks you can buy. It's very wide at the base. We're not sponsored by Pittsburgh, obviously, because I'm buying Daytona stuff now that I'm in the professional line of work. But if you're DIY, this is the one I'd recommend. If you're not doing that, get something with a wide front base that's overrated for what you're doing, and for God's sakes, use a jack stand. Don't get your fingers chopped off out there. That's all we have for today. Thank you for watching Grumpy Monkey Garage.
2, 1, action.
Okay, viewers, so today we're talking about jacks. Now, with that in mind, we need to come across what are the 3 things that a jack needs to be able to do. Every time I try to film, there's some sirens. 3 things.
2, 1, action.
All right, now in talking about jacks, we need to, I get a phone ring.